But of course in France they have Nazi gun laws, just like in New Jersey. Do you know in New Jersey you have to get a permit?
Well, do you even have a gun?
Just to buy the gun. Forget
gun?
about carrying it. Just to buy the gun.
I buy that big pack at Walmart, over.
That's pretty funny, Joe. I gotta admit, it's pretty funny.
What do you mean?
You buy the paint gun.
What do you mean?
Are you like a clown, like he amuses you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a clown, like he amuses you, like funny ha-ha?
Yeah.
Damn, Joe. I can't believe these guys go around carrying guns.
Okay, Joe. Yeah, I carry gum. And juicy fruit and Wrigley spearmint and everything.
Why are you guys so scared? Why are you so
scared?
scared, Michael Wagner? Why are you so scared?
Hey, you seen these rioters? Hey, you see what's going on in France? They're going up in there in the suburbs and tearing things down and burning people's houses up in the suburbs. You know, it's a good thing to be able to defend your life and property from malcontents and agitators. And out here in the Midwest, in these red states, we are firm believers in being prepared against such a situation. There you go.
What's wrong with a baseball bat? Over?
Well, now, baseball bats are not nearly as effective. Immune system. You've got an immune system in your body. You've got pathogens coming in all the time, viruses, bacteria, and you've got white blood cells. And you know what? They gang up on these sons of bitches, and they try to kill them the best way they can. And so that ought to be a lesson to you. You got to be prepared for human pathogens in the form of nincompoops, malcontents, agitators, rioters, people who want to harm you, and you've got to prepare for that. And that's basically an analog to a white blood cell situation. You got to take care of people who want to hurt you. If they want to hurt you, you got to fight back as best you can. What do you think about that, Joe?
Well, I think you're probably more likely to shoot yourself or a family member than you are to shoot a burglar, over.
Absolutely false. I know you're listening to some whack job that's absolutely disconnected from reality.
Well, I don't know. I think the data proves exactly that, over.
No, the data does not prove that.
My data's better than your data.
No, your data is built on all kinds of false information there, Joe. Absolutely false, Joe.
I saw it on the news there. A 3-year-old toddler pulled out the mama's piece and blew his mama away because
Hey, what's vote on
he
that?
wouldn't buy the right toy for him in Walmart, over.
Yeah, I know an 8-year-old kid who drove a car into a bunch of people here. So let's say, you want to outlaw cars?
No, but you got to prevent them from having cars. You don't let 8-year-olds drive a car.
I know, but they do it anyway. So what are we going to do? Outlaw cars? We're going to outlaw knives? We're going to outlaw everything? What do you want to do? It's all about cost-benefit, Joe. You got to look at the cost-benefit on the whole overall picture. And so you got to go study what cost-benefit means, Joe. You got cost on one side, you got benefit on the other, and then you have to look at the overall picture. You can't take isolated data points and make extrapolate that to the whole big picture. That's illogical, irrational, and fear-mongering.
Well, I think the fear-mongering is on the side of the pro-gunners. They say you have to have a gun to go to Walmart. Come on. I mean, you're more likely to have your gun stolen out of your car and then a thug use your gun on someone else, over.
That's absolute false. You're just spouting false information, Joe.
Not false information.
False information, Joe.
When Missouri
I guess the guy would go
passed that law
crazy if I
that
told him how they
everyone
even
can
carry
carry
a gun in
handguns,
church.
okay, they just passed that at the first of the year. Now there's all these car break-ins because the place of employment won't allow the guns, so people leave their guns in their cars, so the thugs are breaking into the cars,
what a bunch of
stealing the
morons.
guns, and then they're shooting people like crazy down in the city, over.
God. Now you're just making stuff up, Joe. Okay. Anyway, hey, you can spout fantasy land material all day long. I'm not going to stop you. Come on.
Well, I'm telling you, that's what happened because these guys
Oh, Lord.
to their place of to work, so they leave them in the car, and then some thug goes through and breaks into 10 cars and gets 3 guns, over?
No, it's not happening anything like any sort of a widespread situation.
Oh, it's happening big
Yeah,
time
nice
over
try,
in
Joe,
Missouri.
but
It's
bullshit.
the anyone can carry law, over?
Joe is in a ghetto.
They've been doing it anyway, even since the law happened, so nothing's changed because of the law. It's made it legal for law-abiding citizens to continue to do what they do. You're cooking the statistics. The statistics haven't changed at all from before the law or after the law, so nice try, Joe.
That's not true. They're breaking into cars like crazy when they
What a muggy shine.
to take the report for your insurance. They cops say the same thing. They're just breaking into these cars because they know 1 out of 3 cars has a gun in it, over?
Absolutely false. Nothing's changed from before or after the law. Nothing's changed.
Terrible thing, Michael. All these stolen handguns are being used in murders all over the place.
Okay, now, it must be fun to just make up bullshit on the fly, Joe, but you're making up bullshit on the fly, and it's not true, and that's okay. But you continue. If it makes you happy, it makes you feel good, just do whatever you're going to do. Spout off the bullshit that you're making up. But it's for the intelligent people out there who do the research on it, they'll know what the facts are.
Well, these people aren't trained in carrying a firearm, Michael. They don't have to have any kind of training or documentation. They just go buy a gun and start carrying it. The hospitals are full of people that have shot themselves in the foot, in the kneecap, and all kinds of other things, over?
Is this Sarah Silverman? I thought I was talking to Joe Italiano. I think this must be Sarah Silverman. Yes or no?
I mean, they don't even know what they're doing. They go to the Walmart and they ask the guy at the counter, what kind of bullets does my gun need, over?
Well, Sarah, that's an easy question to answer, Sarah.
Well, I know, but it shows you how they're nincompoops. These are not people that should be carrying guns. People that are trained with guns, that's fine, but that's like giving them a car with no driver's ed, over?
Okay, Joe.
Don't you have
we'll be
driver's ed in
comfortable.
your state, over?
Sarah. I should call you Sarah.
Don't you have driver's ed in Indiana?
Let me tell you, Joe, you and Sarah Silverman need to look each other up. She's the perfect match for you. I think you get along just fine, over.
There's retards out there carrying big old handguns and pulling their pants down, the gun's so big, over?
What a dumb ass.
Oh, I know. Most of them are illegal carriers,
No, they're not
licensed
illegal.
guys.
In Missouri, it's
The
okay
criminals
now.
and
It's
stuff,
okay,
so they're going to do
over?
it anyway.
You don't even
This
need
is
a
why we
permit
don't
in
need to
Missouri.
license
You can carry
law-abiding
whatever,
people
over?
because the people who are likely to cause crime do it anyway.
Not in
This is what you're not understanding, because you don't like to look at the big picture. You like to look at little data points here and there and try to make a case out of that, like pulling a slot machine and winning the lottery or something and try to extrapolate on the whole system. No, you got to look at the big averages. You got to look at the whole system. And the fact is, criminals carry whether you like it or not. So the laws have been restricted against law-abiding citizens for far too long. And it's estimated 2 to 3 million crimes, assaults, rapes, murders, 3 million a year are prevented from law-abiding citizens carrying firearms.
Is this,
So there you go. KP9RSY.
is this Wayne LaPierre that I'm talking to, over?
What a
Is that
dumb
you,
ass.
Wayne? Is that you, Wayne LaPierre, the NRA president, over?
Hey, Joe, one thing I have to say to you. If you don't want to carry a gun, don't.
Well, I have trouble fitting it into my pants, over?
Black crime. The criminals have all the guns, and the poor black people don't have any way to protect themselves. KVP gun.
Yeah, where do they get those guns, Bob? They rob them out of people's cars where they leave them in the car because you can't bring them into various places of business. Only
Joe's on a hobby horse here. You're so full of shit. Cite a source, Joe.
I want to shoot Bambi.
Your bastardized view of people robbing guns at a car. Just that people are leaving them in the cars at the parking lot because they can't bring them in. Cite some sources, Joe. Let's get some science going here.
Well, most places of employment will not let you bring your gun in. Over.
Yeah, but
WB3DYE.
Kind of a, it's a bullshit.
Not even go on a plane.
Let's see some sources. Let's get some statistics from some real bona fide data gathering entities for this claim that you're making.
Well, they had this American Freedom Network. You could log on with your computer, and you could fill out the form and prove your income, that you're on food stamps or some kind of government assistance program, and they will send you a free cell phone. They should have the same program for a cheap firearm, like a High Point, 9mm.
On her 16th birthday, she was talking on a cell phone, she was texting, she blew through a stop sign. She got T-boned by a cement truck about half a mile from my brother's house out in Central California. She died, killed her, and so, California's tried to outlaw that, but people still do it. So we need to outlaw cell phones, automobiles, guns, knives. Let's see, what else? Maybe tire irons, and then bathtubs. I mean, do you know that 3,000 people a year slip in the bathtub? It's the most, it's one of the most common ways that people die. Slip in the bathtub. They hit their head. They get a hematoma, and they die. So we need to outlaw bathtubs and showers. Let's see, what else can we outlaw? KB9RSY.
Joe, I got a question for you. Joe. What about the toilet bowl?
We need automobiles, but we do need to make them safer. The question about guns is quite different. It's really questionable whether or not an individual carrying a handgun really does anything. It increases the probability of him shooting a family member, his wife's boyfriend, himself when he drinks too much on ham radio at night, all those things. So it's a lot different than trying to eliminate completely the automobile. We should do reasonable regulation. But what they're doing now is they're throwing out all requirements, Michael. All requirements in Missouri. If you don't have a felony conviction, you can carry legal. No paperwork required. H&MB.
I got a question for you, Joe.
Several points that I've already brought up. Number one, people do it anyway. All right, so unless you're going to actually outlaw guns in the United States,
so let me ask you this.
Your point
you ask a hunter who's going to go out in the forest with a firearm to complete a gun safety course and a hunter safety course. Wouldn't you at least want the same thing before you turn a human loose in the jungle with a gun? Over?
And, of course, the anti-gunners never acknowledge the fact that 2 to 3 million crimes, assaults, rapes, murders are prevented by people with guns every year that far outweigh deaths
That's not true
by
either.
handguns in the United States. And most of the handgun deaths in the United States are legitimate deaths. About a third of them are murders, about another third of them are legitimate crime stoppage, and another third of them are suicide. So that compared to the 2 to 3 million crimes, rapes, murders,
that's not what he's
assaults,
talking
and
about.
stopped by handguns, you're way out of your league, Joe. You can just go pound sand. You might as well shake your fist at the sun.
Hey, Joe, got a question for you. KBPQM.
Yeah, KBPQM needs to go
Hey,
to Walmart
Joe,
to get
if they
bullets.
legalize assisted suicide in Illinois?
Yeah, he needs bullets for his gun, yeah.
No, assisted suicide is not legal in Illinois. Over.
Goddammit.
So, I wonder if maybe
when they do, contact Ed. He'll help you. KBPQM.
Okay, that's
Joe,
really funny, Bob.
if you ever want to commit suicide, I will loan you one of my pistols. Is that all right?
Bob, if you want to commit suicide, all you have to do is go to Illinois now, and you can commit suicide with your Walmart revolver.
Yeah, there, guys.
WB3DYE. Does anybody want to hear the perfect
I'm telling you the truth, man. If you ever feel like you need to
reason
commit
for gun
suicide,
control?
either I'll lend you one of my firearms, or I'll take you to the south side of Chicago and drop you on a street corner. I assume you're a white man, right?
Terrible, isn't it?
Well, ask yourself this. Have you ever acquired this?
Yeah, just drop them off on a street corner in the south side of Chicago. That'll take care of it.
Issues are a big problem. I agree with that, but that's because people eat the wrong kind of food too, Michael Wagner. See, we're making progress. We're putting a big old tax on soda. I'm all for it. Now I have a $10 tax on a 2-liter bottle of soda. That would stop all this heart disease, over.
Well, you know, if they start taxing sucking people's dicks, is that going to break your bank or no?
I think what they should do with the handbags is put them on wheat ground.
I know, it was a bad joke. I apologize. A lot of situations in my life.
Oh, man.
Where I was in control of the firearm.
Listen to
where
this
you
bitch.
could say, I let them know that I had it. That's situation. The only 2 times I've ever been assaulted in my life was when I did not have a firearm, and I got punched in the face by fists of 2 people who, on different occasions. So, the only time I've ever actually been assaulted and actually injured was by fists of some malcontent. And so, using your reasoning, we should chop everybody's hands off. KB9RSY.
Yeah, Joe, that's real smart. Instead of having your own gun in your waistband, you call somebody on the phone that gets there 10 minutes later with a gun.
Although if you purposely pulled your jacket back...
He's an ignoramus, Mike. Don't even bother talking to him about it. He knows nothing about firearms, and he lives in a police state. He's been raised in a cosmopolitan area, and he doesn't go out on sunny days because he's afraid of his own shadow.
You'll get arrested, you'll lose the firearm, and you'll get to go to court after you hire a lawyer, and about $5,000 later, maybe the whole thing goes away, Michael. Do you want that kind of liability, over?
Absolutely false. In Indiana and every red state that I know of. And that might be true in the People's Republic of Illinois. I don't know. Are we just going to topic jump here when you don't get the answer you're wanting and jump to something else?
You better get ready to have about
Tell somebody you have a firearm and you have a license to carry it.
from your net worth
correct. You can
because
tell
of
us
all
if
the
you're
lawsuits.
in any type of defensive mode and you feel threatened, you tell them you have a firearm and tell them to go away. It's not racial weapons. No.
By a variety of people.
Yeah, but you'll also be alive.
What about the legal liability, Michael?
Well, then you're topic jumping. You didn't want to acknowledge the fact that I was correct about the last topic. Now we're going to jump to another thing about liability here. But that's true with anything in life. That's true with an automobile. That's true with walking down the street. With any sort of a device that somebody might get hurt from. I mean, it's a liability. It's a criminal matter. And that varies from state to state. Again, not worried about it. If you're worried about it, then God bless you. And I don't know what
if you have a
the laws are in the People's Republic of Illinois, but if you're happy with them, then God bless you. You can live in the People's Republic of Illinois, okay?
If you carry your firearm on your side and you don't have a carry conceal and you don't have that option in your state to have your weapon and firearm justifiable shooting and you actually come out of it alive, that would be called brandishing a weapon. But if you are not showing your weapon at all in view, it's not called a brandishing weapon. You tell the person you have a weapon. It's not called brandishing a weapon. Joe's more worried about losing his money than losing his life. That's why he can't rationalize carrying something for his own protection in his waistband. He'd rather call somebody that's 10 minutes away when he can mitigate a situation immediately.
Well, Joe, even if there was a very high liability for me personally, that's none of your goddamn business.
Protecting your life. That's why you can't rationalize carrying your own piece of protection in your waistband.
No,
well, the thing is, let me just get this point in.
Where I'm going to get killed on the street for $5. How's that?
Yeah, well, you must have a good crystal ball, Joe, because people get killed everywhere. They don't just have a place, they don't have signs over the door. People get killed here. People get killed everywhere. At intersections, walking down the street. You're blabbing nonsense, Joe, and everybody knows it. You're blabbing nonsense, Joe, and everybody knows it.
It's not nonsense. If you're a hard-working guy
anybody's goddamn business what my liability is.
You've got some wealth built up.
So that's a non-issue from me to Joe. I mean, Joe,
either you do something improper because you don't have any training, or the situation is such that there's no good answer and you're going to get sued anyway. Why do that? Why expose yourself to that liability, over?
It's none of your fucking business, Joe.
If you buy insurance for that,
KB9RSY W4AMP.
What about the carry? Do you have liability insurance, Michael? And if you do, does it specifically state that if you incorrectly, because of your own negligence, kill somebody with your firearm, are they going to cover it, over?
Yeah, but I guarantee you that you don't have insurance probably more than about $10,000 or $20,000 worth of liability. So let's say you get out and fall asleep behind the wheel and kill a kid going across a crosswalk in your automobile, and they're going to sue you for $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. You're not
projecting your irrational fear, Joe.
Are you, Joe? Are you?
That's not true. In Illinois, I think the minimum liability insurance for automobiles is $100,000/$300,000, and that's the minimum, I believe, 100, 300. So you've got 300,000, or actually maybe per, I don't know how that works. Maybe per incident you've got $100,000 worth of insurance. But there are insurance products that give you the ability to go above that, blanket policies and so forth. But what I'm telling you is, if you're carrying a gun and you're willing to use it, you better make sure you're insured, because your life can be ruined by that one bad moment that occurs. And I don't think most people are thinking through that. AC9MB.
Yeah, but that's my own damn business and not yours. But I'm saying, let's say you run over a kid and you fall asleep, because, you're in your 50s, I imagine. And you're probably just as likely to fall asleep behind the wheel as anybody else. So you hit a kid, your $200, $300 policy in Illinois, whatever the minimum is, I don't know what it is, in the People's Republic of Illinois. But, you get sued for $2, $3, $4 million. Hey, so, that's your problem. That's your problem. And if somebody sues me for legitimate use of a firearm, I'll take it through the courts. I'd rather save my life or the life of my children or loved ones and take the chance and go through the courts. So, in the end, Joe, it's none of your goddamn business, is it?
Well, then what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up incurring those costs. I'm saying that most people do not understand the potential loss that they're buying into with this simple,
I ain't going to hijack the frequency, dude. I just want to make a quick comment.
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Read the cases. Read the cases that are out there, guys. They're out there. You can read them, and you find out everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and you're going to get sued. AC9MB.
Well, that's true for anything. In business, there's liability all over the place. And so it all comes back to this, Joe. It's none of your damn business what individuals do. Thanks for the advice, Joe, but no thanks.
That's a false
And if you don't want to carry a gun because you don't want to open yourself up to liability, then Joe, don't carry a gun. Nobody's trying to force you or talk you into carrying a gun.
It's a false choice, Susie. You're saying it's carry a gun and live, or don't carry a gun and potentially die. There are a multitude of other choices. One of them being, don't go to crime-ridden areas, don't carry a firearm, don't buy into that liability, change your behavior, move to a different community. There's a whole array of other choices. You're trying to do a false choice selection. The only way that I can live is to have a firearm. That is a false choice, Susie, and you know it, AC9MB.
No, Joe, I live in an area where everybody carries guns, and it's actually a very polite society. It's not a rat race like where he lives.
there's no false choice. Either continue to drive a car and open yourself up to liability, or stop driving a car, Joe. You know, simple as that. Everybody makes choices. It's cost benefit. When you look at the big picture, if you look at the stats on the big picture, I'm pretty comfortable where I am. And life is all about looking at cost benefit. I think that's the best choice in life, is looking at the cost benefit at the big picture on the statistics of everything. And I think you're wrong. I think you're dead wrong. So, hey, we could all get sued for a variety of things. And I choose to carry, I choose to arm myself, and I would protect myself. I have protected myself from assault and probably murder on 3 different occasions, and several other friends of mine.
I think they've got so liberal now, you can take
we're willing to take that risk, looking at the cost benefit of the overall picture. So, hey, what I'm saying to you, Joe, is thanks for the advice. I think you're wrong. And if you don't want to carry a gun, don't. But it's not rational when you look at the cost benefit. In fact, driving a car is a lot worse of a gamble when you look at the cost benefits. So if you're going to be if you fancy yourself a rational person assessing the evidence, you're not making any points with me, KB9RSY.
Yeah, but I am a reasonable person, Michael, and I do drive a car, but I have big liability insurance, and I have blanket liability policies on top of that. I do take proper precautions. And what I'm asking
you could run around uptown dragging a string of Claymores and drinking a 12-pack of beer, and you're legal. W4AMP.
What an insurance agent would say about that. Over.
I mean, here in Georgia, Mike, you could run around with RPG downtown, a 12-pack of beer. I don't think anybody'd even notice.
That's my kind of place.
That's it. That's why I wanted to throw that in there. I didn't want to hijack the frequency. I know you like, your firearms rights up in Indiana. If you ever get bored, come down here to Georgia. Oh, by the way, Mike, Joe's insane, in case you didn't know. I'll see you.
All the time. They can do that brandishment of a weapon machine on you, Michael. At the handfest. You're going to carry at the handfest, Mike. Over.
Hey, Joe, thanks for your concern. But I'm okay. Thanks for your concern. But what about you? And what I just said.
What about your insurance policies? I want to know.
What about yours, Dick? What about your anti-dick sucking, anti-dick chopping off with your teeth insurance policy? Because, you could be sucking some gay guy that you like and accidentally bite him, and he sues you for $1 million. Now, do you have liability insurance? I want to know.
I have blanket liability policies, but I'm not sure it would cover that. But I don't do that, Michael. You say you carry all the time. If you're carrying, I want to know what you've done. Have you paid for a policy to cover you under a bad shoot? Over.
That's none of your concern.
It is my concern. It's going to be your concern. Do you want to go bankrupt?
It's none of your concern. Do you really care about me, Joe?
I do. I don't want you to go bankrupt because of a split-second mistake. Over.
Yeah, but why do you care about me? It's none of your concern.
I'm just trying to tell you there's liability, Michael Wagner, and you've got a nice house. How would you like the thug that you accidentally shoot to be living in your house because you did something wrong? Over.
Yeah, but I don't have a nice house. But what any business is that of yours? I mean, what's your concern? What's your interest?
It's not my concern, other than you should be concerned about it, Michael. You should be concerned. Over.
Yeah, but you should be concerned about accidentally nicking and causing, a blood disease from somebody that you're biting the penis of. I mean, he could sue you blind. I mean, what kind of insurance do you have, Joe?
I think you're getting off the subject here, Mike. What we started with is you said you carry all the time. And you know how things are. Something could happen that you could discharge that firearm accidentally or intentionally and hurt the wrong person, and you could get sued. I want to know if you have an insurance policy for that. Over.
Well, I want to know. Now, you're running an amateur radio station. What if you cause cancer to your next door neighbor and they try to sue you because you're running an amplifier in your house, and they blame you that there's high-powered radio transmitters next door, and they sue you because the lady got cancer. Do you have insurance policy, Joe? I'm worried about you, Joe.
Everybody do the dinosaur.
I'm just trying to ask you, Michael, does your policy, does your homeowner's policy or your auto insurance or your personal blanket liability policies cover you in a bad shoot? That's a financial question, Michael. That's not any sort of, it's just a common sense thing to ask yourself. Are you protected under that situation? What has your insurance person told you about concealed carry and all of the ramifications of it? Over.
Yeah, thanks for the concern, Joe. But what about your next door neighbor who sues you for cancer because you're running a high-power, amateur radio station, and she blames you for getting cancer? Now, do you have an insurance policy against that? Yes or no?
He doesn't care what you say, Mike. He's not listening.
Good Lord. Joe, just remember when you're knocking the door, get on the floor, everyone do the dinosaur. You've heard that song, Dinosaur, haven't you?
I heard you the whole time you was keyed up, Jimmy. WW4.
Joe doesn't go out.
What's up, Goob? Oh, Goob remembers the dinosaur, don't you?
You know it. I heard you when you was calling Mike, but
Hey, but I
didn't
heard
answer you, but I heard you.
All right, Goob, good to hear you. Let me get out of here. I didn't have the frequency. Good to hear you, though. 7.3 W4AMP. I'm going to go vomit. I'll see y'all there.
Okay, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody's convinced anybody of anything, except Joe needs to get a liability policy against his next door neighbor suing him against running a high-power HF station. She's going to blame him when she gets cancer, and then what's he going to do? It's going to be millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
Hey, Joe, the sun's out. Don't go outside. Your shadow's there. Makes a lot of sense. Carry a cell phone or carry a gun. Which one's going to stop you from getting robbed or shot? The police department on the other end of the phone or the gun in your waistband?
That's a false choice there, Tommy.
No, it's not a false choice. It's the absolute choice.
The question is, what of the whole array of solutions that you have before you do you take? Avoiding crime-ridden areas is far more sensitive than carrying a gun. Let me ask you something, Tommy. Do you go into the biggest ghettos in Kentucky with your carry gun and say, I'm okay? No, you don't, because you know you would be buying into trouble. It's common sense, something that you lack.
When I did have to go into the bad parts of town, Joe, I always carried a gun.
Now, Joe, are you still with me?
QRM here, heavy QRM, 89
Now, Joe, let's say you go to a gay bar, let's say, Joe, you go to a gay bar, you meet up with some guy, you take him home, you do your fellatio thing on him and whatnot, and you accidentally nick him in the penis with your tooth, and you transmit a disease from your saliva in his bloodstream, and he sues you for $1 million, $2 million. Now, do you have liability insurance that's going to cover you for that, yes or no?
Now, is Joe in a pink pastel dress and using his cat on a hot tin roof accent? I'm trying to get an accurate visual here.
It depends on how serious he gets, Jimmy. Sometimes he loses it completely.
I tell you, well, since there's a lot of people here, and I think I've got a little propagation, I wanted to make a public service announcement. If anyone listening to this transmission is here in this country illegally, if you're an illegal immigrant, you need to go back to wherever you came from. If you're here from Mexico, you need to go back to Mexico. If you're here from Nicaragua, you need to go back to Nicaragua. If you hear a knock on the door, it's going to be your friendly ICE agent. Don't panic. Don't get concerned. Just open the door, get on the floor, and everybody walks the dinosaur. That's a public service announcement by W4AMP.
You own a pit bull, over?
Negative, over.
Why don't you own a pit bull? What's the problem?
Negative, over.
but why not? Why not? Over?
I don't want one. Over.
Hello, radio. You have the KC2GRU here. Stand by.
For that gun. That gun thing, you better check the insurance policy based on NSFW.
What does it have to do with a pit bull?
Well, it's very similar. Very similar. Do you have a swimming pool, an in-ground swimming pool, over?
Negative. Over.
Well, if you have one of those, you can get sued also, over?
Oh, you can get sued over anything. Over.
Yeah, but you got to take proper precautions. That's what you do as the responsible adult. You take proper precautions.
Chris out there. You got Dookie here. KC2 just waving everybody a hand.
It's none of your business.
Yes, it's your business, Michael. It's not my business. It's your business. If you accidentally
You got the goddamn hemorrhoid out there. Excuse my language, that's Joe Saliano.
Michael,
He's got that new switch medicine and he takes too much and he tells a bunch of lies. Always
you know how much money you're going to lose, Michael, over?
Well, it's my business.
I know that's your business. You need to take proper precautions, meaning you need to go find an insurance carrier that will sell you the proper insurance for a bad shoe.
He'll stay the right way. Just listen to him. He'll stay the right way, all right?
To insure yourself, you're going to say, you know, maybe I should just stay out of the bad neighborhood.
Yeah, this will move things a little
Joe, are you laying face down on your bed with your boxers on backwards and a big grin on your face saying all this stuff?
Against that, yes or no?
I couldn't tell what was going on there. There was another station in there with you, Michael. You guys were like head to head. My point is, you need to worry about liability. Liability is a big issue in the real world. That's not the fantasy land that you're living in, that this is the Wild West. It's not the Wild West. You fire a shot off and somebody gets hurt, you're going to get sued. Even if they're a criminal, you're probably still going to get sued because they're going to say it wasn't me. It was the other guy. You shot the wrong guy. You're going to get sued, Michael. So you better have taken the proper precautions, over.
Yeah, but Joe, when you go to a gay bar and you bring him home and you nick his wiener and you give him a blood disease or give him some sort of a venereal disease and he sues you for $1 million or $2 million, do you have insurance for that? Yes or no, Joe?
I don't have insurance for that, Michael, because I do not participate in that behavior.
I wonder if Joe's laying face down on his belly with his boxers on backwards.
I don't do that kind of stuff, so I don't worry about it. It's very similar. Whatever your activity you're involved in, you better have liability insurance. Ace and non-MD. If you're a big boater and you drive the big boat down on the lake, and you run over one of those ski-doos and you kill the person, you better have really big insurance, okay? And that's going to cost you a lot of money to have that insurance. That gun carries the same sort of liability. That's my problem with it. Most people don't understand the financial impact of making that decision.
Well, then don't carry a gun, Joe. Don't carry a gun. I advise you, if you're worried about it, unless you have whatever insurance you think you need, do not carry a gun. You got that?
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that, Michael. I can take care of myself. I've thought through it. I don't think you have thought through it because you have assets, okay? You're not one of these guys out here that's completely broke. You have assets, and you admit that you carry all the time. You need to make sure you're properly protected from some eventuality of a bad shoot, an accident, anything. And if you don't, that's financial malfeasance on your part, over.
Thanks for your concern, Joe.
Yeah, life malfeasance is not having the wherewithal to protect yourself and your family. You'd abrogate your responsibility to somebody else with a gun. That's stupid, Joe. You're a professional worrier, not a warrior.
Well, no, wait a minute, Tommy. Now, you be careful about what we're talking about here. You start talking about protecting your house with the castle doctrine and all that. That is a different situation. That is by far a different situation.
Wow, interesting admission.
Carrying a concealed firearm out into the public, going to Walmart, going to wherever he goes, sporting events, whatever he does, and the potential
He's fixated on Walmart.
A bad outcome related to you. That's quite different than the defense of your home and your family in your home. Over?
No, Joe, you need to read up on different state laws, Joe.
I think you buy over the insurance company.
Now carries over to your automobile. You can kill somebody for trying to carjack you.
Yeah, but what if you're in Walmart and the guy decides to rob Walmart and he pulls out his piece and you think you're going to pull your piece out and you fire at him and you miss him and you hit the lady behind and the guy turns around and shoots you, you're in the hospital, you shot the wrong person, everything's gone to hell and he gets away. And the only thing that's left is you shot the wrong person.
He's not a little crazy, he's just insane.
I'm not insane. I'm living in the real world.
No,
you guys are living in fantasy land. You don't understand what happens out in the real world.
He's playing with a fullback anyway. Got some spark plug lights.
I'm going to want to arrest you, first of all. That's
banging on all his 8 cylinders.
You may get off of that, but then you got the whole
standing by.
magnitude of civil possibilities. You need to think that through. It is not clear to me yet that this concealed carry is the correct thing for average people to be doing. I still think it's not. And it's gonna work its way through. It'll have to work its way through the courts. There'll be cases where people, there will be good cases.
I think that's more like Gore
that
Vidal.
you're talking about. Bad guy gets stopped from a good guy. There will be those. But there'll be a whole bunch of cases where nothing will be clear. There will be confusion. Innocent people will be injured. Lawyers will be looking to sue whoever has money. Think about it, AC9MV.
No, I don't need to think about it, Joe. My choice is made. I carry a gun all the time.
Hey, that sounds like Gore Vidal during the Myra Breckenridge period, Joe.
Dog bites going through the courts now, where a dog bites a little girl in the face. Not a big bite, but still bites her in the face. 12 plastic surgeries later, at a cost of $560,000, they're still paying. So everything has a liability, guys. Think about it. AC9MV.
You have to look at the broad spectrum of the cost-benefit over a wide variety of data points. That's what science is, and you're just cherry-picking anecdotal data points. And you can prove any point you want by cherry-picking anecdotes. But that's not science, and that's not rational. Over.
It is rational, Michael, because it's happening in the real world. You had better be prepared for the payout if you're taking that action. That's my point.
That's because you're not a scientist, Joe. You're just, like I said, you're cherry-picking data points, and anybody can prove anything by doing it.
Obviously, that lawyer's incompetent, Joe. You would do wise not to take his advice.
Where's all the wild women?
Okay, whatever, Tommy, but I'm telling you, the world is far more complicated than advertises from Smith & Wesson, okay? They make it look like, they do the false choice thing all the time. I see the ads in American Hunter and those things. It's all this false choice. It's be safe or be at risk. But they don't talk about the other risks that are out there. It's false choice, Tommy. That's a fallacy. Over.
There was no concealed carry, but there was carry.
AC9MV.
If you wasn't paying so many lawyers, Joe, you could afford a radio.
You need to get out into a state where there's a little bit of freedom, Joe, and taste a little bit of real America.
Well, Tommy, again, first of all, you do have a really bad 60-cycle hum or something on your signal, but you always do that. You're in Illinois, therefore blah, blah, blah. Well, even though Illinois is a blue state, it's probably 55% Democrat, 45% Republican. So, don't make it sound like it's 99 to 1, Tommy. It's not that way. Most of southern Illinois is Republican. It's only near St. Louis and, of course, up in Chicago that it's very heavily Democratic. So, you keep making that argument that because I live in Illinois, everything is different. That's not the way it is, especially in southern Illinois. Over.
It is the way it is.
Go, man. You hit the nail right on the head. Exactly.
To protect yourself, you need to go to grammar school because Your use of the English language is terrible.
Yeah,
I bet you doesn't have any liability insurance there, Tommy. He doesn't care about
Louisiana. Said it.
liability insurance. What the hell's that? It's hard to be nice out here when you're dealing with these Neanderthals, over.
Hey, Joe, get you about a liter of Summer's Eve. You'll be okay. W4AMP, I'm out of this stuff. It's getting too Gore Vidali in here.